Hi, I'm Joe Hedgecourt, the wizard of future hiring trends. Are you currently preparing for college? Currently have a job? Are you applying for jobs? Are you looking for career change? Watching this video may well be a turning point in your life, a turning point for the better. Unfortunately, most people look at jobs as a way of uh, getting a job fast, or going to college, going to university, and getting a job after they get out based on what they see in the marketplace, in the workforce, as far as what the jobs are available. What jobs are going to pay well, very key. What jobs are going to uh, put them in demand, also very key. But what so many people do not look at is what is the job market going to be like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? And this is critical. Having a job is probably one of the most important things in a person's life. It only is second to relationships and also to personal well-being. So third in line would be having a permanent job or a permanent profession that can be counted on to take a person to their retirement, that can be counted on to provide them with what they consider to be the American dream. And people don't realize that the job market is constantly changing. It's changing, but it's changing at such a slow speed that people don't recognize that what is here today in the job market is not the static that it seems to be. The job market changes at human growth speed. Human growth speed meaning from infant to toddler to early childhood, teen years, into adulthood, middle-aged, and then retirement age. It is changing constantly and always has been. This is something that has always been there, that change. But it happens so slow that you don't ever see it. You look in the mirror every morning and you never see the change on your face. I mean, after maybe a month or so, you can see a beard if you don't want to shave. You shave it, yeah, you see it, it's gone the next day. But the overall characterization, the overall way that you look, that doesn't change fast enough to notice. And that is the job market. But change it does. It absolutely does change. It changes at the speed of scientific facts proven. That is the technical reason that it changes. It never stops. As science goes along, new improvements come along, new things evolve. Uh, we can all reflect back on the music industry. First, it wasn't first, but the major player was vinyl records. And then there were 4 tracks and 8 tracks, and then there were cassettes, and then there's the CDs, and then there's the MP3, and on it goes. Kodak, for 100 years, it was the premier manufacturer of film, whether it be in your little Polaroid camera or for a multi-million-dollar Hollywood film production. Kodak was the place to go for your film. Kodak had hundreds of thousands of people working for them, maybe even a million. Now it's a minuscule, a fraction of what that used to be. There's no large demand for film any longer. It's a very specialty driven area. And they've shifted a little bit into some other areas. I don't know. The film is the thing that disappeared, and they didn't see it coming. That's the point to this. They didn't see it coming. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, I have first-hand experience on this. I, in my late teens, was going to go to college, to university, and get a degree in one of the sciences. I found that a local steel mill, which was very big at the time in Southern California, was hiring hundreds of people. And I found that I could actually go to work there and meet what I was looking to achieve by going to the college, to university, and work in sciences field. I applied and I went to work in the metallurgical lab as a field observer for quality control in the actual steelmaking process. Great job. I made great money. I bought my first house before I could even go into a liquor store and buy a beer or a bottle of whiskey or a bottle of wine. I bought it before I was 21. And that's the same for everyone that worked in the steel mills at the time. Steel had evolved. It had taken the place of cast iron that was used in the early 19th century. It had essentially been invented in the mid 19th century, and it was the driving force of the Industrial Revolution for 100 years. It's what enabled the manufacture of locomotive trains and cars and the railroad. Some decades later, it enabled the production of automobiles, and then it enabled the production of steel ships, and on and on. For 100 years, it was the driving force that enabled the production of so much in society. Back 60 years ago, if you wanted to drill, a hand drill, it was made out of steel. If you wanted a toaster, it was made out of steel. On and on. And at the core of this Industrial Revolution, steel being there, was something that was very much sought after and paid well. And it was proven. It had been around for 100 years and would be around for another 100 years. Wrong. I worked there for 6 years. And after 6 years, I was permanently laid off with the whole rest of the steel mill. I worked for Kaiser Steel, the 11th biggest steel manufacturing facility in the United States, the biggest west of the Mississippi. 10,000 to 12,000 people worked there. 10,000 to 12,000 people lost their job in that community. But it wasn't just the steel mills at Kaiser. It wasn't just that. Kaiser was 11th biggest in the United States. The Big Ten in Ohio and Pennsylvania, within a couple of years of Kaiser, they also shuttered their doors, went out of business, or very severely cut back their production to a minuscule amount of steel compared to what they were making prior. And that was all because Asia could produce steel at a fraction of the cost. And what consumer of steel wouldn't want to pay a fraction of the cost for their steel? And so not only did about 1 million steel workers lose their jobs permanently, but the flanking and allied jobs and services shuttered as well. Probably 10 million people that were aligned to the steelmaking process also lost their jobs. That was a huge impact on the United States in the early 1980s. Well, that has occurred time and time and time again over the humankind. First there were horses, and then there were horses and wagons, and then there were automobiles, and then there were jets and rapid transit, high-speed rail. It constantly changes. Now we're looking at autonomous cars. They are on the road. There's so many miles have been logged on autonomous cars in some American cities, millions and millions of miles, to such an extremely low accident rate that it's sought by government as the next evolution because it's so much safer in an autonomous car. I know they're scary, but the statistics prove that there is almost never an accident with an autonomous car. There's a whole fleet of big rigs, uh, tractors and trailers went on a convoy in France. They were all Mercedes produced big rigs. 100+ miles, perfect, flawless, no drivers, all done autonomously. This is happening. So the point is that you have to know what's on the horizon and what's around the corner on the employment, in the employment market, the workforce. If you don't, you'll be caught out just like I was as a steel worker. No job. Had to totally change to a whole different way of providing myself an income. The same is true for so many jobs. It's well known if you do any kind of research. Top people in the fields, top organizations are pointing out that the 50% of the jobs current today will be lost in the next 10 years. 50% of the jobs. And I'm not talking about just factory jobs, the entire spectrum of jobs. You can go to Wiki and see technological unemployment. That has a very good overview of the debate on that, and there is a consensus, and it won't stop there. The two driving factors currently are robotics and artificial intelligence. Robotics is definitely in the workforce. It is an ever-growing factor in the workforce for Amazon in their warehouses. More and more of the job of procuring the products off the shelves and getting them packaged is done by robots, not humans. Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world. That's going on right now. Robotics have been around for a decade or more. They and their predecessors, where automation was occurring in the factories, and it won't stop there. Factories are being automated, and the factory worker's job, no matter what the product is, won't be done by human labor. Right now, in factories that employ robotics exclusively, there's a few humans that are present with a couple of different responsibilities that are replacing hundreds of or even thousands of jobs if that same production facility was operating 10 years ago. Human jobs. Now it's all being done by robots. And it's not everywhere yet, but the big thing is yet. It's happening. But that's not the only place. In the professions really at high risk are accountants. Artificial intelligence, you don't even need that. The computers currently can almost eliminate everything that accountants do. And in the area of law, there's been a decrease in enrollment in universities for a law degree for several years now. So they're getting it. The computers will do all the research, and it's just a matter of a few legal personnel to put that together for the presenter. And just around the corner, I'm talking like 5-10 years, we'll see the presentations in the courtroom to the jury and the judge being done by robots that are uh, being run by artificial intelligence. In law firms, you'll see that it's just the occasional lawyer that will be the law firm, and everything else is done digitally. Same thing is happening in medicine. Vast changes in medicine. It's no longer the surgeries and the drugs to cure or to placate the bad effects of illness. We're down to the point where DNA alteration is going to be and is currently being utilized to heal people, to keep people safe so that they don't get ill. Uh, our oldest ex-president, Jimmy Carter, 92 years old, had been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. 92 years old. Somebody, terminal brain cancer. What are the chances of recovery? None. At that age, any kind of treatment is out of the question, basically. It was inoperable. DNA altering technology, he was cured in 3 months. He was in a very special position because he could go to the head of the line on testing it. But it's here, and it's getting more and more so in the health industry, and on and on. Professions, it doesn't matter. If you're a subcontractor supplying whatever to to industry, to the professions, you're in the same boat. Your contract to perform whatever it is that you perform is only as good as the need. I have a team that has done research, continues to do research on this, and this is what I provide for you. Here's a newsletter that you can subscribe to. Click below on that, and I will keep you up to date on what is changing in the world with technology that's impacting the workforce. What is going to dictate what jobs are needed in the future? There will be a lot of people who will lose their jobs over the next 10, 20 years. There will be a lot of people that have degrees that will find them useless over the next 10 or 20 years. They're no longer needed. And they will shift to employment that is less remunerative, to employment that doesn't pay as well, if they get a job at all. We've seen this in the last 10 years, where so many people lost their jobs and then had to resort to low-paying service jobs. That's on the horizon for people that don't recognize what's going on and take action now. The newsletter will actually provide you with not only the crystal ball view into the future based on research and fact, but we will also provide you with an understanding of the training that you need, the companies that are looking to hire in those industries, and what their requirements are and will be. It is basically putting you a step ahead of finding the right kind of employment that will take you through all these changes into the future and will provide you with the income to achieve what you consider is the American dream, and it will take you to the point that when you're ready to retire at whatever age, you will have the facilities to do that without want of lack of income. want of income due to the fact that you have gone forward and matched the marketplace. You have matched the need of the marketplace by your profession. So press below and sign up for the newsletter, and I'll see you on a weekly basis as I continue to update the research that our team is providing. Thank you.